So I have had this theory now for close to a year or so. The more that I keep hearing about socialized healthcare and where healthcare is going and these democratic debates, and as anti-socialized, government-run, single-payer healthcare as I am, I have to be real and look at where healthcare is going. And, what looks realistically to me like what's going to happen is we're going to be getting away from this whole managed care, insurance dictating what procedures can be done type of healthcare that we basically have now. I don't know exactly what the financial model of healthcare is going to be in the future, but what's going to happen is we're going to hit a tipping point where people are so sick that doctors just can't handle the load of seeing patients anymore, no matter how many doctors we have out there. And also remember too, just because a person is a doctor doesn't mean they're a good doctor. Sometimes it doesn't even mean that they're a competent doctor. But as more and more people have access to healthcare, and we all have access to healthcare, but as more and more people have access to a way of actually affording healthcare, what's going to have to happen is the cost of healthcare are going to come down. And the only way that we take the cost of healthcare down is we start, as much as this is bad to say, diluting the quality of the care and making it less personable. So my theory has been for a while that in the future, maybe even not the not so far off future, maybe the more realistically near future, is a lot of medical services are going to be diverted into artificial intelligence, AI, automated care. I really believe to the point that to go get non-emergency services, you are most likely going to be going to, I don't know, an office or a building or a location. I personally think it's going to be kiosks. And you're going to go and you're going to get in line. You probably take a number. Maybe there's multiple of these kiosks. It's going to be like when you go to the airport. And instead of having to go wait in line to check your bags, you just go to the kiosk and you put your information in, and then you just go up to the person at the desk. It's about giving them a ticket. They take your thing, they stamp you, and you're off, right? I think healthcare is going to be the same way. You're going to go to a kiosk. You're going to there's probably going to be like a finger reader or a hand reader. You'll have a card of some sort, a chip of some sort. You'll put it in the machine. It's going to be your entire medical history. It's probably going to have your genetics. It's probably going to have, you'll get your vital scan probably through lasers and machines. And then you'll probably type in like what your symptoms are, and any other pertinent information. And then the AI is going to essentially print you out a solution. And most likely the solution is going to be some kind of pharmaceutical drug. Because no matter how much we change the front end of healthcare being like the doctor-patient relationship, we're never going to get rid of drugs. Drugs are always going to be a thing. The pharmaceutical companies are always going to make new drugs, which means that we're going to have to make sure that pharmaceutical companies are always profitable, that there's always an incentive for someone to go in and invent a new drug. This is how new drugs get invented, with financial incentive. The problem is that, you have these hyper speculative, high frequency trades happening on Wall Street that essentially makes, what should be good service pharmaceutical companies turning into just these evil fucking drug pushers. That being said, my vision of what is happening, what I believe is going to happen in the future, is actually coming true. So you can see here with an article like this, let's move it over here. Bam. Doctor paging robot, artificial intelligence moves into care. So let's read through the article and see what it says. The next time you get sick, your care may involve a form of technology people use to navigate road trips or pick up the right vacuum cleaner online. Artificial intelligence is spreading into healthcare, often as software or a computer program capable of learning large amounts of data and making predictions to guide or help patients. It already detects an eye disease tied to diabetes and does other behind-the-scenes work like helping doctors interpret MRI scans and other imaging tests for some forms of cancer. Now, parts of the health system are starting to use it directly with patients. During some clinic and telemedicine appointments, AI-powered software asks patients initial questions about their symptoms that physicians or nurses typically pose. So so this isn't a bad thing, right? This is actually a real good thing, you know? I mean, yeah, as humans, I think we naturally are going to have this fear of giving too much to the robots to do. But in this case, I mean, look, if you want a better healthcare experience, we have to start taking these time-consuming, resource-consuming, simplistic diagnoses out of the doctor's hand and give it to AI, right? You shouldn't have to see a doctor because you have a sore throat. You shouldn't have to see a doctor because you have a fever or even the flu. You shouldn't even have to see the doctor, I think, for some of these autoimmune diseases, right? This is all stuff that can be done through AI, right? The smarter they make AI, the more that AI can handle taking your temperature, taking a sample from the back of your throat, as frightening as that sounds, using your own genetic information and your DNA information, and your electronic medical records and that sort of thing, and be able to diagnose, okay, this person has a fever. Okay, my fear is that that what that's going to do is just start cranking out prescriptions for antibiotics, right? But you also have to, as we get more and more into antibiotic-resistant bacteria, I mean, we have to have, kind of like a stopgap on these machines where they say, look, here's what you do. You rest, you sleep. Here's a list of nutrition that you can get in your body that will help you beat these diseases. A physical, you don't have to see a doctor for a physical. Go to the kiosk, put your little finger in there, take your blood pressure, get your blood sugar, get all your lipid panels, have a little sex robot hand come out and play with your balls, make sure you don't have any testicular cancer, have it come out, feel your boobs, make sure you don't have any breast cancer, and then, you move on with your life. There's no point in having a doctor waste time doing all this because, as we know, even the doctors doing this isn't keeping people healthier because people keep getting sick. We have the 37th ranked health system in the whole world. It's not because our health system is that great. It's not because we don't spend enough money. In fact, we spend multiples more money than even the second and third countries, behind us. It's that we spend money and it's just being completely wasted, in this case, on doctors who don't need to do all the things they're doing, that can be deferred to, some of these AI programs. So now parts of the health system are, okay, let's come out here. An AI program featuring a talking image of the Greek philosopher Aristotle is starting to help University of Southern California students cope with stress. Researchers say this push into medicine is at an early age, but they expect the technology to grow by helping people stay healthy, assisting doctors with tasks, and doing more behind-the-scenes work. They also think patients will get used to AI in their care, just like they've gotten accustomed to using the technology when they travel or shop. Yeah, it's really not going to be a difficult thing for people to do. I mean, yeah, like, I don't understand this thing where people have a relationship with their doctor. You don't need to have a relationship with your doctor. In fact, it's probably better to not have a relationship with your doctor. I have zero relationship with any doctor, and somehow my health is, I don't want to say perfect, but I don't go to the doctor. I don't need to go to a hospital. My blood pressure is, incredibly too perfect for somebody who, like myself, who has lived in places like New York City, right? And who dealt with high pressure situations and stress and nerves, right? My blood sugar, I don't have blood sugar crashes. I can intermittent fast every single day quite easily. I can go 16 hours without eating any food very easily. I don't have insulin swings or any of these things people deal with. And you can correlate to the fact that I don't see a doctor on the regular. It's really not a hard thing to do. So if we can take these more low-level kind of naggy doctor's visits, which are the majority of what doctors spend their time doing. Also, keep in mind, less and less people are going to med school to become general care practitioners. I think the last number I saw was like 45% drop in the amount of doctors that are now becoming GPs out of medical school. So the whole pool of GPs, of people becoming GPs, is diminishing. So why not outsource that work to an AI, to artificial intelligence, to robots that can do the same thing, that are more than capable of giving you a physical? They have robots who do open heart surgery. Why can't we have a robot that just does your basic vitals, that does your lipid and blood panels, that can interpret all that stuff for you? And then you can actually be even more involved with your health when you don't have somebody just dictating it to you, but when you have to actually kind of understand what a computer is talking about when it's telling you these things. And I would even imagine you could program a feature that, kind of gives tutorials, that you can kind of email this stuff to people. You can have it at your home, and you can go through a lipid panel on your computer and have the software explain to you what the numbers mean, a personal report of where your health is, right? And how to take control of your health. You can have, virtual doctors. You can have virtual health coaches, virtual dietitians. But you can have personal nutritionists, personal mental health coaches. All of these things can all be done virtually. Can all be done through AI. So you can free up these people to get, I guess, more qualified surgeons, more qualified specialists, which we need more of. Right? That's what we actually need more of. We do need GPs, but we need people who might become GPs to actually go the extra step and become specialists. And you can have these kiosks, these artificial intelligence robots, refer people to the specialists. So, we can't be afraid of it. It's ridiculous to even think that people wouldn't be on board with this. Rizzo and his team have been working on a program that uses AI and a virtual reality character named Ellie that was originally designed to determine whether veterans returning from deployment might need therapy. Ellie appears on computer monitors and leads a person through initial questions. Ellie makes eye contact, nods, and uses hand gestures like a human therapist. It even pauses if the person gives a short answer to push them to say more. Hey, Ellie, can I hire you to have discussions with my wife, because you might be better at that than I am? Ellie does not diagnose or treat. Let's go back here. After the first or second question, you kind of forget that it's a robot, said Cheyenne Quilter, a West Point cadet helping to test the program. Ellie does not diagnose or treat. Instead, human therapists used recordings of its sessions to help determine what the patient might need. This is not AI trying to be your therapist, said another researcher, Gail Lucas. This is AI trying to predict who is most likely to be suffering. The team that developed Ellie also has put together a newer AI-based program to help students manage stress and stay healthy. This AI thing is for real. Now, it's not without its problems, because what you also have here, which was written in JAMA actually just recently, you have addressing bias in artificial intelligence in healthcare. And so basically what this article states is that there are biases, because as you program the AI, remember, health isn't just universal health. Right? We're all not just like the same people. As much as politicians and activists want us to believe that we are all equal, we're not equal, right? That's like saying like, hey, even I should have a chance to try out for, the Phoenix Suns or something, because I'm just as equal of an athlete as Devin Booker or DeAndre Ayton, right? No, we all come from different walks of life. We all have different physical features. We all have different emotional features. And then when it comes to race, it's like, the medical needs that people have differ depending on not just your race, but specifically even within your race, where in the world you come from. I have Eastern European roots. The diseases and the foods that I'm genetically predisposed to needing and to diseases to avoid are different from another white person who's Italian, or another white person who's Norwegian, or another white person who is, Australian or Canadian, or, South Americans or African. We're all different, right? So the problem with this artificial intelligence is sometimes it doesn't take into account those differences. And then sometimes essentially what you have is, because, part of building the AI is taking all of these scientific data points, a lot of these epidemiological studies, and computing that. I think here it talks about the Framingham heart study. Yeah, the Framingham study, which discusses things like, risk of heart disease. Well, the problem with that is that study, I don't believe, was very good at discerning ethnic differences in the numbers. So, sometimes these AIs might be programmed using data that only came from a subset of Hispanic people or Eastern European white people, but you can't apply that same data to, an African American or to an Asian American, right? So this is kind of the limitation of AI. But again, if we're just talking about common, very rudimentary procedures, diagnoses, like just seeing if somebody has a fever, just doing physicals, just giving kind of baseline numbers, which do take up quite a bit of office time. And, what it seems to be, unfortunately, within the last 10 years is emergency room time. You can totally outsource that to AI, and it should work out just fine. But I'd love to know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on AI entering the medical system, AI becoming what should be a normal fixture in your medical protocol. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you scared? Do you welcome this? Do you think the robots are going to take your information and sell it to the government, and then the government's going to target you with more ads for pharmaceuticals? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Also, remember to subscribe to the video. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And remember to catch up on all the old Holistic A-Hole videos. I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.